Hello everybody, Glass Half Dead here. Today I am giving you the full podcast type chat that I had between myself and Beeranid, which you may have seen a little teaser for from last week. The first thing we need to know is hello, and if you're a subscriber, double hello. If you want to get a double hello in the next video, subscribe now. Also leave a like and a comment. Oh, this is fun YouTube algorithm stuff, isn't it? Anyway, in today's video, me and Beeranid talk about Marines, we talk about the psychic phase, we talk about the difference between 100 points and 125. We talk about, very briefly, because we want to do a separate chat later, we talk about why, as an entire Western meta, we just completely skipped commanders, and why that was probably the wrong decision. But that, as a more full topic, is coming at another time. We also talk about our favourite factions and our least favourite factions to face against. And if you want to know everything else we talk about, look down in the bookmarks below. Every single section is listed out. If you only want to hear about one thing we're talking about, jump to that right now. Anyway, enjoy myself and Beeranid. Just two guys chatting about Kill Team because we both enjoy the game. Right, oh, we're actually recording, crap, okay. I haven't recorded an interview in ages. Like, I haven't done a single one this year. So this is a bit scary. Right.
It'll be okay.
You've been doing loads though, haven't you?
I just did Necrons last night with Matt Hurl.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah.
How are you feeling? Rusty? Strong?
Yeah,
Defiant?
I'm rusty, and it's, like, I always end it, and then I'm like, I should have said this or asked that, you know what I mean? And it's like, I stop recording, and we go off on this tangent. It's like, dude, this was gold! What happened?
Why did I stop you?
Yes.
Why did I bring you back to the point and start asking you about, oh, and how are the points costs? Who cares?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, well, let's see how I can do. Luckily, I'm working for bullet points. So, hi, Beeranid.
Hi, Mr. Glass. I was told to tell you hello from Ben at the Knights Cast crew.
Oh, so how are the Knights Cast crew doing?
They are well. They're excited for Big 40K as far as I can see.
Oh, perfect.
Yep.
They're the kind of guys that are hyped about Crusade, aren't they?
Yes,
yeah,
as far as I can
so.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I was told to send their love from the States to you.
Oh, awesome. No offense. If that can come masked, that'd be great. Because I'm just saying. I mean, you guys are what? California? Dangerous place.
Yeah. They gotta put on some gloves and a mask to send their love now.
Before I smother their love all over my body. Cool.
Yes.
So we've both been playing in the BAO tournament because of course BAO hasn't gone ahead. It got cancelled, much like every single other tournament this year. Well, apart from LVO, that was in January, wasn't it? You know, we've done okay with that. We've done some interesting things in BAO, all on TTS, obviously. How has that been for you? You enjoying it? What's your record at the moment, though?
I am 3 wins, 0 losses officially.
Nice.
And tied with Shane for second place right now, with Matt Hurl in first. So 2 Astartes vying for second. We'll see what happens now that it moves on to elimination. Nice. I'm probably going to lose the next round and go from second place tie to just out of the tournament because a single loss from this point, you're just done.
Okay.
But we'll see how it goes. How about you, brother? How was your experience?
Do you know who your first real opponent is then?
No, I don't. It's going to be from Oodsickle's group. So my friendly co-host of the Killzone podcast and I, if he goes second in his group, have to face off in the next round. Unfortunately,
how's
and winner of that?
Is he getting?
Oh, he's
through?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, he's just just like all of us, just still in quarantine. This 2-week quarantine that is.
No, I didn't mean emotionally. As an English person, I have the emotional range of a scone. I meant, how's he doing in the tournament? Is he going to get through? Could he be facing off?
He has not played a single game in it yet. He needs to face.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs to face Grey Knights, Deathwatch, and an unknown third. I don't know who his third opponent is.
And he's playing Tau?
He's playing his Tau.
Interesting.
His filthy, nasty Tau.
Grey Knights suck to play against, don't they? Oh, I'm going to add that to the notes. Psychic phase. Bullshit. Am I right?
Oh,
I like that. I
yeah,
like that.
man. Yep.
Psychic
So
phase. What BS? Cool. All right.
I'm
That's
either
on the docket.
it's likely that I will either in my next round face Oodsickle, who I don't want to face because it's like win or lose against a buddy. We always end up playing each other, or Grey Knights. Because, unless Deathwatch can take Grey Knights out, that would be nice.
I mean, stranger things have happened. Like, I don't know, Trump being elected for president, I guess.
I saw, I've seen Deathwatch table Grey Knights before in like
it can
one
happen.
round.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but they're both fragile teams essentially. So luck of the dice.
Yeah, it's gonna be like 6 dudes, and whoever gets a lot of kills first basically does it. Because that's the thing with Grey Knights, right? Is I'd be playing Astartes against them, and as long as they have 2 guys alive, I'm in a lot of trouble. So it's like I have to go for an early table or something.
But if that frag cannon can get a good position, like if the Grey Knight messes up and the frag cannon's there, and you can get 4 of his guys on flesh wounds, I mean, you're away.
I would probably do Intercessor out front, just something like that, just 2 wounds, eat it, and then have the Infernus Heavy Bolter behind, and then 3 frag cannons.
Sure.
And just try to table him really quickly. Run a guy up, do only a death his duty end. Okay, he gets killed. Boom, 2 CP. Frag, take a guy for a guy. And then soak up shots somewhere else with the mine bullets, and try to just get them. Go for that early break test.
Fair. So I ran Custodes in this. I did a poll on my channel, over 700 votes, and the majority, 80%, said run Custodes. So I did that, and the first game I was against Heretic Astartes, and I failed 4 armor saves in a row, and that was it. I was done. So that was fair play. Can't argue with that. That's how dice be. In my second game, I'll talk about in a moment, but actually I really like my second game for one reason. My third game I actually won, so I won 14-8, but I conceded. So I got to the point where it was the very final part of the game, and we tallied up our scores, and I then conceded to him. Because I didn't care. I didn't want to win. So I had already lost twice. And by me winning this game, all I was doing was stopping him from going forwards. I was like, well, I don't care. Right? I've already lost twice. There's no way I can go through. Why should I cuck some other guy? So I beat him, then conceded before I actually beat him. So I've got 3 losses. However, the middle game was against Necrons. I was a little bit concerned about how they play against Custodes, but actually I did really well. I was kind of beating him, except I made one critical decision, which was I forgot to, I charged with my leader, and then I had intended to pile in onto a point, but I forgot to do it, and I also then forgot to consolidate as well. Now I realised this in the morale phase. And my opponent said, "Oh, yeah, you meant to do that, so do it." But I said, "No, that was I legitimately forgot. It's not like he rushed me. It's not like I had bad dice. I just forgot to move my model onto the point, and because of that, I lost 4 points because it would have gotten me data recovery and holding an objective that turn. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was 4 points gone, and he beat me by 3 points, kind of thing. So it was okay. Yeah, really.
I've been there. Yeah, man, we've all been there. That happened in one of my test games for the BAO pack against Sheldon. Same thing. I just forgot to pile in and score the game-winning point. It was
but
dumb of me. Yeah.
I'm saying I was really happy with that loss, because normally when I lose, I can normally point to some dice and say, you see that? Statistically, that shouldn't have happened. And I will 100% say, if that had gone statistically correct, then this would have happened, blah, blah, blah. And I would have taken it. But this was just full on, no dice. The dice didn't matter. I just forgot. And so actually, this is one of the few times in 2 years of playing Kill Team that I can look at a game and say, this was 100% my fault. I can't be annoyed at dice. That was really awesome, actually. It is the least saucy I have ever been at losing a game.
And dice are such a thing on TTS, or at least they have been for me. So it's nice to have a game loss on TTS that isn't dice related.
Oh yeah. I mean, playing Custodes though, if you roll some ones, you kind of lose the game.
Yep.
So it is what it is. I mean, that's what happened to me against Heretic Astartes. To be fair, he was running, a Berserker with Power Fist, so he probably should have gotten the kill, I suppose. But yeah, I just couldn't make any saves. And then, I made a decisive attack, and I rolled a 1 on the decisive strike, so he got to go instead. And it was like, oh, well, okay, fine.
Yikes.
Yeah. Anyway, BAO tournament. We're both enjoying it, though, aren't we? And we're both enjoying TTS, actually.
Yeah. Are you going to do the Underground Fight Club now and come back?
There's only 3 spots left, and I don't really care. To be entirely honest, I'm really enjoying not having to play Kill Team on TTS at the moment, because I'm putting so much effort into my channel. I kind of don't want the distraction, even though it's only like 2 hours a day. It's just, and I'm not doing anything else. I'm in quarantine, but it's still kind of like, oh, I have to play, blah blah blah. So I probably won't. But if I were to, I'd play Genestealer Cults, because they were the other faction that I kind of wanted to play instead of Custodes, and I had run them and I'd had really good results in my test games, but I didn't want the hassle, so I didn't run them.
Genestealer Cult's really interesting, man. I see Matt Hurl doing really well with his he's doing like cultist spam Chaos Space Marines, and I just keep looking at this.
Corn Berserker spam plus a few cultists, yeah.
Well, he's doing like it's more cultists than berserkers, as far as I could see. He's running
no,
like
it is,
a big
yeah,
lip.
it is, yeah.
And it's like, dude, I think all of this pretty much applies to cults. It's like, okay, if he has 4 big guys that are his berserkers, it's like, well, we have 4 rock cutters. And then, you look at the difference between the cultists of CSM versus GSC. It's like, okay, we get a sub-faction. We have better LD, have more special weapons. Like, I think that cults have the superior spam when it comes to running just cultists. And so it's like,
Acolyte Fighters had a 3-up save, then I'd say Genestealer Cults would be OP. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's their T3 5-up save, But no, in Arena, I legit think they could have taken the tournament. Yeah.
Yeah.
And nobody ran them, unfortunately. It turns out I was the only one seriously considering going with them. Alright, however, in this BAO tournament, number 1 faction being played is
Astartes.
Yeah, by a significant margin.
Yeah, it's like 1 out of every 2 players or something like that is running Astartes.
I mean, I haven't seen the latest stats, but haven't like 12 Astartes players made it through, or at least won a game? I can't remember what it was.
A lot of them won a game. Like in my group, there was 3 Astartes players, including myself. So it was 3 Astartes and Tau, and myself and 1 other Astartes player made it through.
Right.
And Shane made it through with his Astartes. He's got a disgusting kind of melee thing going on. It's like his list is like Pac-Man. It's just like the enemy is a bunch of little dots, and you're just just running through and gobbling up all the little dots. It's a great thing. But they're doing really well. I think it's because everybody expected Necrons, and I think that there's a lot that Astartes can do to counter Necrons.
Right.
So that's probably a reason.
I mean, there are some Necron players. It's not like they've completely disappeared.
Yeah, some Necrons have moved on. They've been doing okay. I've actually been hoping for a Necron matchup. I wish that was my next one, because that was the thing. So I had a list that I really liked, a roster that I really liked, but I had to scrap it to be able to fight the Necrons and Drukhari that just appeared. They were nowhere on the West Coast, really. We have a couple players here and there, maybe Sheldon and Paul, to me, that was doing okay. He actually won a local BAO prep with his and stuff, so it's like, okay, they're on the radar.
Yeah.
But then I don't play for a couple months, and I come back on for TTS, and they are just everywhere. Drukhari, Necrons, just everywhere.
Yeah.
And so, I had to scrap the roster that I absolutely loved, and I was just like last minute changing things and all this. Finally, I just sent it to Shane. It's like, okay, here's my roster. Don't let me change it again. And I hate my roster, but it is still hopefully built to beat Necrons.
Okay,
at least.
Well, I mean, do you have an answer for Heretic Astartes cultisting Berserker spam?
Oh, man. Flesh wounds, I guess. Try and stay back. Don't let them in, because there's nothing I have that's going to out-melee them. Sure. I mean, I could out-damage them, but they're going to probably hit first, and Just
And
all
then they
kinds of
hit
stuff.
twice, and yeah.
Yeah, but I was able to beat Berserkers and the BAO prep that I went out here. So I handled them already in the BAO format once. It was a very good player. It was Luke Siana who took co-third with me at the SoCal Open. He and I faced off at the last the prep before everything closed down, and he was running his Zerkers. And my guys, I rolled hot. That's probably why, but it was they did well. My Astartes.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I find that when I roll sixes, I seem to do quite well as well. Don't know why.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
Got to roll sixes on those flamers, man. If you can do that,
Yeah.
you can win.
Oh, that's how you win games. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I just thought we'd have a quick chat about Astartes because everyone plays them, but they aren't really winning, but they should. Like I won't be surprised, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do win this tournament just because weight of numbers.
Yeah, I mean, and this comes back to something we talked about almost like 2 years ago now, where we were talking about why Tyranids did so well at the first LVO, and it's just like they were everywhere. You know, there was.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that with the Astartes now, unless they just get creamed.
I mean, it's possible, but I don't really know who's playing them. I mean, you are obviously, but I don't know like the quality of most players playing them. I mean, one of them beat me.
Yeah, they're really good. They have a lot of options, but it's like the jump to 100 or to 125 from 100. It's like I instantly started seeing losses that didn't happen before with my Death Watch and my Astartes.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was absolutely just stark contrast. I literally had just won a tournament with the Death Watch, and I'm playing up against a buddy. He's running his Tau, and we're playing 100, and I beat him. And then he goes, "You want to try this new 125?" I'm like, "Yeah." We set up, and then all of a sudden I got stomped. It was like, wait a minute, same player, same faction, all this stuff. What was the difference? And it was just the difference was 100 versus 125. For some reason, they were just better.
Interesting. You see, because I would have thought, obviously, Astartes, I don't play them that much, but I know what they do. I know they exist. They have so many options. I would have thought that they would only get better the higher the points cost goes.
Well, it's like, if you imagine the Astartes, they have certain things that are really good in certain matchups. It's hard to make things that swing between both with them. And so all of a sudden when you jump to 125 and each list has 2 more guys, or sometimes, right, because you can get to 9 guys in some lists and some counters that you're trying to do, it just means less counters. And so it's, okay, I have a list now that has to beat Astartes, has to beat Necrons, has to beat Custodes. Like, these all present different challenges. The Astartes might have plasma. The Necrons, it's I have to spam injury rolls and get through their thing, so I have to bring plasma. Custodes, I'm forced to go positional, but now I have one list that's supposed to do all those things. I got to go Killy in this. I got to spam, flesh wounds in this. I got to be really defensive and eat plasma with this. It's hard to have all that in one list. And that's what 125 did to the Astartes, is it started saying, okay, well, you can have one list for every 3 to 4 enemies. So good luck, kind of.
I totally get what you're saying. But you know how Alex Mech, that's what we call him, how he builds his AdMech lists is he kind of doesn't have set lists, essentially. He looks at what he's facing and says, okay, well, I want a plasma to kill that, and I want an arc rifle to kill that, etc., etc. And then if he happens to come in, 6 points under, then he's like, okay, well, fine. Yep. It's possible that, such a flexible faction as Astartes could also be done that way.
Well, that's kind of like where the rubber meets the road, right? Is you do all this theory hammering and you're kind of trying to metagame and say, okay, I think this is what's going to be at this tournament, and you're trying to build to beat those really well. Like in 2 of my games so far, I had to do exactly what you're talking about, where I had a completely different plan. I was going to do a certain list, and then all of a sudden I see the map, and it's like, oh, I have to do something different. And what it ended up being is I had to take some of the Blood Angels from my roster and some of the Salamanders from my roster and make a list that was just a total mutt, like a dog on the street that is not like a purebred kind of a thing. And you can do that legally, but you get no sub-faction bonus. So I've had to run in 2 of my games so far in BAO for the online tournament. I've had no sub-faction bonus. So it's like, here I am with, these Salamander dual pistol guys that normally re-roll, and I don't have those re-rolls and things like that, just because this is what I had to take in this match.
Salamanders are so good. final word on it, but salamanders are crazy. I think they're still hands down the best sub-faction.
Yeah, they are just, as far as like take all comers, they're just the best. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. If you've got a specific idea, if you're like, okay, this guy, these 6 guys need to do this, and you build specifically for the sub-faction, then yeah, obviously you can get better results. But for just a 2 rerolls every phase,
yeah,
I'll take that.
And
I'll take that every day.
What that means, like everybody's like, oh, that means you can reroll 3 of your plasmas. It's like, no. Because like the stacks that I have going on, it's like that can be 3 dead plasmas that are not dead at the end, because I have a sniper who's rerolling both of his. I have the hit and wound reroll from the Sally, and then a command point reroll technically. So I can have 3 dead Sallies or 3 dead Marines with plasmas not be dead, which is huge for my list, because what I've done for the Necrons is I started packing in guys that have dual plasma pistols. So I can actually, it's just like Tau drones, where you can get an injury roll with the left hand and an injury roll with the right hand. That's how I approached the Necrons. So having those rerolls is great, because I actually have quite a few chances to kill myself on just 3 guys. That's 6 potential overcharged plasmas that can kill you.
Yeah.
It's really nice to have Sallies for that. But things like the Black Templars to reroll charges is just disgusting, as Shane has been pointing out to me. I've been watching his games, just like, holy crap, that reroll is so big. And also Blood Angels. I had to do Blood Angels in my own because Drukari, it was just like so disgusting, where they're -1 to hit base on those stupid mandrakes.
Yeah.
All this stuff. T4 on the racks, just all of this. So it's like, okay, I need the +1 to wound, and some flamers and things like that, or maybe start close with some eliminators. So now a basic eliminator guy is wounding them on 2s, on a non-rack with 3 attacks. So he doesn't even have a close combat weapon, but the eliminator sergeant is absolutely deadly to them in combat now. Just things like that. Like, that's what I found I had to swing in.
I have actually just today finished writing my first faction focus for, and it's going to be Astartes, because I never talk about Astartes. Like, I have I have the kill team, I just never talk about them, because I prefer Xenos. I've just finished writing it like an hour ago. I completely forgot why I was saying this. There was definitely a point that led directly on from what you said, but it's completely gone. So there you go. Good stuff. Let's talk. Let's talk about the psychic phase. Isn't that some bullshit? Like, okay, so the thing is, maybe it's not bullshit in the original game, but obviously we've modified. We've gone to hold kill. Both of the double Cyborg teams, Grey Knights and Thousand Suns, are really good, aren't they? And it's like, did we kind of mess up? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, they're really strong. And it's not fun strong, is it? It's, okay, remove your model, no saves, go away. I was like, crap, that feels bad.
Yeah. Well, I have kind of a controversial take on that this could be its own discussion on itself, by itself, a whole interview that we might want to do someday.
All right.
But I think that a lot of that comes from the fact that we don't play elites, and I think that we were intended to be playing elites. Not elites, excuse me. Commanders.
Yeah, you've lost me. Commanders. Oh, okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
We
should be playing commanders. Yes, we should be playing commanders or nothing, in my opinion. We should be doing core book 100 or commanders. Everything. Right.
That is its own thing. I agree. Yeah. That is its own show. Yeah. We could talk about that for hours, I'm sure.
But just getting into the psychic aspect, that's why we're seeing so much of an issue, I think, is because every faction pretty much has a psyker, just not how we play the game. And so there's that huge disparity in terms of like a balanced kind of feeling when you go up on the table and it's like, wow, they just have access to this super efficient thing. It's like, yeah, you were supposed to have access to that too. We have the rules for it, but just as because GW and their infinite wisdom said that this was not balanced, for competitive play. We listened to that and assumed that things like custodies are balanced for competitive play. Yeah. What a joke. I don't know. I think that it's like we do 100 points, nothing, or if we're going to start bringing in some of these things, this guy has an extra psi bolt, this is all this kind of crazy stuff, then all of a sudden it's like, okay, we should be playing commanders, because elites was actually a commander supplement. It's got like 20 new commanders in there. You look at things that didn't get a buff, things like the Harlequins and stuff like that. They didn't get hardly anything in elites. Well, that's because they're already disgusting in commanders. Again, GW is assuming we're playing commanders, so that's the balance there. Is they are disgusting already in commanders, so elites didn't add that much to them. Just like I said, I could go on and on about this, but when it comes to the psychic issue, that's why. It's because we were all supposed to be having psychers, but we all just didn't get them in core. And now that we're using selectively, we're saying, oh, we'll play elites and bring in some rules from this commanders expansion. We wonder all of a sudden why things that were built to kill commanders that some teams don't have is suddenly really strong against normal everyday teams. No, that's it. I'll stop.
Okay.
We'll do it another. We'll do another thing.
Yes, I agree. We've spoken about this offline. I think we both actually have the same mindset, and we both agree. But this is something that I think is a huge topic and would be its own thing, because there are so many nuances. But I am equally kind of on the same boat that we should either be playing 100 points, elites as well. I'm not saying core only. Like, I do think elites should be included, or we should be playing full-on commanders. And I think that as a community, we abandoned commanders far too quickly. And that was our mistake, not GW's. It was our mistake for listening to GW, to be clear.
Right.
But GW's allowed to say whatever they do. They can say whatever they want. But we chose to say no to commanders, and then when they say yes to elites, we said, okay, yeah, that makes sense, because we wanted to play it, right?
Yeah, we wanted all the toys.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, with that also came things like Custodes, which you're not really equipped to handle very well without commanders and stuff. Like commanders, you look at the Mirror Minds ability from the Shadow Seer and the Harlequins. That thing, it's like, oh, it goes off. Okay, you take a mortal. I roll again. Oh, you take another mortal. Oh, okay, you take another mortal, until it's like you're dead or I stop rolling dice. And that's the thing, right? Is it's like you were supposed to have those kind of abilities to face Custodes, which we don't have. And then all of a sudden we're like, oh, 11 rail rifle shots don't do it? What? Because it's like we were supposed to have mortal wounds everywhere, or starting the game with like 5 CP, or all these kinds of things that commanders makes possible that we just don't have when we're like, oh, only play elites.
Slight counterpoint to that. I don't think GW balanced it that well. I think it's a bit of a mistake. Well, sure. But I think it's a bit of a mistake to say that, oh, we were supposed to have this ability. I don't think GW thought about it that much. I genuinely think they thought, commanders go crazy. Because that's what they've told us they've done. Maybe they're being, they don't mean it. Maybe they're being hyperbole. But they've said that, oh, yeah, it's not balanced. So it's like, did they really not test it?
One way to look at this is that we, for the first time, actually have the complete game, right? We have all the expansions and stuff. We have the Rogue Trader. We have elites. We have commanders, all this stuff. And this would kind of be, we know that they have like a 3-year release cycle where they'll be working on something, and then 3 years later, that's when it drops. So it's like, you got to think that a lot of this was probably factored into as like a complete kind of holistic thing that we just got trickle fed as like DLC type content, but it was actually like the entire game. It was
originally play tested as one game, which we were given 3 parts of. That's a potential thing. And like I said, it's just like, if you look at the disparity between who got what in Elite, some factions really made out poor. It's because they were amazing already in Commanders. And the assumption is, I think, that we would be playing Commanders on GW's end. And the fact that we're not leads to these huge disparities. Like, holy crap, Grey Knights are using Commanders level stuff just because they have access to Elites. Elites, I don't think it was meant to be played on its own, to be honest. I think it's like something you could do casually, that they make everything able to stand alone. But it's like, dude, there's just so much in there for some factions. Like, look at the reserves. Just look at reserves. You got some factions like Eldar that can drop in with 2 fusions and a D-Scythe
right around your guys, and other guys can't even get outside their DZ. What? You know what I mean? Like, that's such a huge disparity. How can you call that balance?
Well, that's nothing to do with commanders.
Sure it is. Because if you
can
go
do
back
that in
to what
elites.
I'm saying, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Elites is a commander's expansion.
Oh, I see.
It introduced new types of commander specialisms. 20 different plus commanders that you can now run, and the elites sub-factions that buff your team in those commanders games using those elites rules. You know, that's how what I'm really getting at here is that elites is actually a commander's expansion.
Okay, this is its own topic, so we'll move on. We could talk about that for hours in another topic.
Yes. One of these days.
So, right, kind of a little bit of a follow-up from what you've just said here. We're both looking at this because this is our channel, you know. We're looking at it from a competitive perspective, and we're looking at commanders and elites, and we're saying this isn't really working. Like, it doesn't look good, if you want to say the word good. Are casual players just loving life at the moment, and we only hear the negatives because our communities are primarily competitive?
I don't know. I think that a lot of
but we're not hearing from the casuals because they're not diehard enough to be in our communities. By which I mean, sorry, I'm not saying they're less than us. I'm saying that they don't care enough to be on a Discord, right? Like, they're having a whale of a time. They just don't want to be on a Discord. They're enjoying it as it is.
Well, a lot of quote-unquote casual players don't actually play. That is what I've found. They collect, they watch YouTube, they paint, things like that. But a lot of people that are in this hobby, I would say probably even the majority of people in this hobby are not playing the game. Not even are they competitive or casual. They're just not playing. Or they go out, a couple times or something like that. And the way that the additions shift and new rules and stuff, it's actually kind of, there's like a barrier to entry for some of this stuff. Like myself, I've built 3 or 4 different Gene Stealer cult, big 40K iterations. None of them are usable at the moment. They were nerfed basically before I could play them. I would have the idea, start building up, and then all of a sudden here's a nerf, or the rules would just change so much that all of a sudden it just wasn't really viable. So, it's kind of a hard thing to say, but I don't think that casual players are ever really loving life. They're some of the most militant people that I've come across. Every win at all costs situation that I've ever come across, every bad at the table experience that I've ever had was really casual players. It was never competitive.
I have never experienced this for sure. Okay.
Yeah, man.
I haven't had it.
The most grindy, win at all costs type thing that I've ever experienced was a casual game on a Sunday. It was my day off, and I just found a local pickup game at GW. Casual player had his fluffy team and wanted to make sure that hey, it's not fluffy for his team to lose, right? So wanted to bend the rules in his favor, but not give maybe concessions on my end, just things like that. It was really kind of a weird thing, but I
don't know. I can't even imagine it. I can't even imagine it. To be honest.
Yep.
But fair enough. That's almost because you were just talking about 40K. That's almost a segue, but we'll leave it. We'll leave it.
40K is another thing we can get into talking big time, because I think as kill team players, we have a 2-year head start on this. Looking at the missions.
Okay, hold up. I don't know if you want to... We'll talk about the 40K in a moment.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll quickly add that to the roster, because I agree. I know exactly what you're about to say, and I agree. Because they've... We'll talk about it in a second. We'll talk about...
Yes. We get carried away, guys. Those of you guys listening, we're buddies, and we ramble. So you guys are actually just hearing a conversation that wasn't necessarily the best format for an interview, perhaps. Just two buddies talking, but yeah.
We get through it. It's fine. Okay. Yeah. Right. Sticking to kill team. What's your favourite faction? You can give any reason. It could be mechanics or fluff or whatever, or just in the heat right now you're liking this, but you don't normally. What's turning you on, man? If you know what I mean.
Faction-wise, for the lore and fluff, it's Nids and cults all the way. Um, game wise, it's Astartes.
Okay.
Like when it comes to the crunch and building and things like that, like just playing the game.
Okay.
Really like Astartes.
What about cults? Do you like in the fluff?
I like the whole thing about the Tyranids and all that is I like how it's a force of nature. You can't really fight against a hurricane, right? It's just like, holy shit, this is a disaster. And that's what you're facing on the tabletop. Like when you see a big 40k army and it's like, holy crap, that guy has 300 Hormagaunts. Like, what do you do against that? It's like fighting the ocean, you know? That's just so appealing to me. I love it. I come from a background as an animal trainer and things like that. So it's like I really like that kind of a thing. I like the animals and you know the nature aspect of it. How everybody else is just like, oh, I fight for the emperor, I fight for chaos. These guys are just existing. They're just a natural disaster, a force of nature, and you can't argue against it. So, but with the Gene Stealer cults, I love the insidious kind of nature of them. The very HP Lovecraftian kind of vibe. Just like how that would almost be like 40k terror, which is interesting because the horror series I know they're starting to get into now with their writing and stuff. I think Gene Stealer cults would be an excellent subject for one of those novels because they are the scariest thing, in my opinion, in the 40k universe. Being a bit of a germaphobe myself and things like that.
Yeah. You'd hate them then.
I just see that. No, I think it's like that's what's kind of cool, right? Because it's like the grim, dark kind of a thing. They are like the grimmest, darkest thing that exists, and all of it is also highly plausible, right? Like there could be a alien locust swarm somewhere that is just about to descend on our little galaxy, and we're screwed. What would we do? And then also like a space kind of pathogen that could infect you and have Xenos origin.
40k.
Like yeah. So I really love that aspect, like the fluff of the Tyranids and the Gene Stealer cults.
Okay. Fair enough. And when you're thinking of Gene Stealer cults, you don't see it at all as you know, the underclass uprising against the dominant class. That's not your thing.
No, because you know they I think that is a very initial kind of a thing that goes on, right? Because it's like a lot of times you would think by the time that it's found out or something or whatever, like there should be no need for an uprising. As far as I see it with the Gene Stealer cults, I think that's just like my models are defending the planet that
they've
somebody
already
else overtaken.
Is
not welcome to. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Because they've completed their spread, they've infected everything, and they're just waiting for their Tyranid buddies to open up the bio pools. Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, because like that's the insidious nature, right? It would be it would be a smile and a handshake. There would be no shot fired. You would want to be part of it.
Okay, you know who you're describing right now? Tau. That's right.
True.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
The
and I like Tau. Also.
I like Tau as well. Yeah.
I really like Tau. Yeah. So makes sense.
It makes sense. Yeah. Okay. Fair. My favorite faction. I kind of don't want to give the same answer as you, but as I have just bought a bunch of models for them, I'm going to have to go Gene Stealer cults.
Nice.
But, you know, I'm super ADHD with my hobby interests. Right now it's Gene Stealer cults. Next week, it'll probably be, I don't know, God, Death Watch again. Who knows? So, yeah.
Well, like, what's your favorite? Do you have that, or are you too British for feelings yet again, or how does this work? Is there a favorite faction that you have, just like in terms of fluff or the look of the models, anything like that?
No, not really. As I said, right now, Gene Stealer cults. But that will change. That will change. And you know, next week maybe I'll be back on my I want to make an entire Grey Knights army out of Stormcast train. You know, that was fun. Or maybe I'll be doing Custodies again not because I really like them, but because I quite liked the Marvel bases I did for them. You know, I change my mind every 5 minutes. The fact that I have managed to do a YouTube channel for 2 years is a testament to the all-seeing four-armed emperor himself.
Yes. So
I don't know how I've managed that. Yeah.
Let me phrase it in this way then. What made you say, yes, I'm going to play 40k? Like, what army did you see?
Do you mean Kill Team?
or
Or do you
40k kill
mean
team, the
in
IP
general?
basically.
In general.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Was it Space Marines? A lot of people at Space Marines.
Oh, that's a big question. So, it was thrust upon me. I had no choice in the matter when I was but a young'un. My dad bought me the second edition starter set, I think. You know, with the Space Marines all in one pose and the Gretchen and Orcs all in like one pose, and like
Was
the
it
cardboard cutout dreadnoughts kind of thing.
Oh, okay. Wow. So that's older than I thought because I was thinking you were talking Assault on Black Reach, but
No,
this is
before that. Yeah.
wow. Okay.
Yeah. And back then, I remember. I think the first thing I really remember about Warhammer, like aesthetically, is when they released a new tactical marine kit after those crappy monopose ones, and I remember thinking just the normal tactical marines looked amazing. I can't remember what mark it was. I don't know, and they obviously don't look as good as they look now. But I remember the gorgettes, so that the head was, and neck was slightly below the collar, was like, oh wow, damn, that looks really awesome. And that's kind of the first aesthetic thing I remember. So ultimately, yes, I suppose I would have to say that it was Space Marines that I liked first. But I never really collected Space Marines, kind of. But if you ever ask me generically about a cool aesthetic, then 100% Knights power armor in cloaks. That's my shit. Put a cloak over some hard armor, and I'm the one that's hard.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
maybe Dark Angels will be a thing in your future then, something like
I
that.
do like some Dark Angels. Yeah. I mean, the Stormcast as well. Cloaks over armor. That's my thing. I just love it. I don't have a reason why. Maybe it's because it's completely impractical, but I love it.
What do you think of some of these guys in the new Indominus box? Because they're looking kind of
So I like
kind of knightly.
Yeah. I can't argue with any of them. They all look great. The huge shields, the massive swords or whatever. Yeah, they look awesome. I don't know if I'm going to buy the Indomitus set, but at some point I will, because of something we're going to talk about later, I will have to pick up a Space Marine army. But it's definitely not top of my list.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Oh, I keep forgetting to mark down timestamps. This is so annoying. Right, there we go. This is for when I go back to editing all of this. I'm trying to timestamp every time we move on to the next bullet point. I'm not doing a good job.
Oh, you're doing better than me by even trying.
Right? I figure this is going to save so much time in the future. Okay, alright. That was our favourite faction. Now, worst faction to play against. Go.
Custodes.
Oh, okay.
I hate Custodes.
That's pretty good. They're just crap, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're just not fun. Whether you win or lose, you don't really have a fun game.
So are we not swearing because of you?
You've already you swore about 8 minutes in, and I was like, I'm not going to edit the swears out. Screw it. So yeah, whatever you want to say.
Because Custodes are like a few to the opponent, to the meta, to everything. Like when you go up against them in the hold kill format, you're telling the opponent, 50% of the win condition does not apply to you. It applies to me. I can get kill and kill more, but basically, you're not going to score very much. So you're forced to go positional, even if your team is not built to go positional. Which, hey, that's just part of being a general, right? You need to be able to switch up to that. But the effect that has on you in the ladder, in the rankings of a tournament, just pisses me off because it's like, dude, is an 8-point win really that great? If everybody else was getting 21s, suddenly you are the lowest winner. You're at the bottom of the bracket, despite winning, despite going against that hard matchup and winning. You're just like, it's almost out of reach for you now.
No, that's the torpedo.
Simply because you faced Custodes. I don't know.
That's how Michael T. Holy won LVO though. I smacked him down to bottom. because we had such a low scoring game, and then he just chilled out at the bottom of the rankings the whole day, and they're just like, oh, also he's top 8. It's like, wait, what? Huh? So I'm saying that's a legit tactic. I don't know, so I used to play X-Wing, and the first time I heard about submarining was from that, and there was a strategy by some knob, obviously, who who would do this deliberately, where he planned to, I think it was, I can't remember exactly, but his plan was to lose all of his games by 1 point, kind of thing. And that meant that you were in the losers bracket, so you were always playing the weaker opponent. But since you were so highly scored, you would always be at the top of the losers bracket, which meant that in the last game you could win, and it would actually bump you up to second. Some absolute bollocks like that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's hard if they have a tourney score and the game score, because the tourney score, you would have a 3 point for the win, no matter what your score is, but like an 8 versus somebody who had a 3 and a 3 and a whatever 21 or something like that. So if you take that loss and you have a 1 instead of a 3, it becomes very hard in some of the kill team competitions to come back. I almost pulled that off with the first LVO because I had a loss in the first round.
Yeah.
But did well in the other games, but I was still out because somebody had a tie in another game. So, and that tie beat me. So even though I had a higher score than the person in third, I did not get to come into the thing because he had a tie and 2 wins, and I had a loss and 2 wins. So even though my score was higher, it did nothing for me, sadly.
Sure. Okay, so moving on slightly. Still talking about kill
you?
team.
Wait.
Okay.
You don't get to get away.
What was the question?
What's your?
I forgot.
What is your least favorite thing to play against?
Oh,
Kill team?
it has to be Custodies, doesn't it? I mean,
yes.
Yeah.
See,
like just because you don't really feel happy, win or lose. It was just so I shot at you a bunch and literally nothing happened, but you also didn't kill me because I abused charge mechanics. I say abused, used. That's how the game works. But it's like, and I cycle charged you so you couldn't do anything, and I won. But I don't feel happy. Like this hasn't been a good match, which is why I stand by my earlier coining of Custodies, which is Custodies, gatekeepers to fun. There you go.
Damn.
I'll stand by
savage.
I'll stand by that. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I guess the only other faction, like, so let's say I have to give a different answer, right? Okay. I'm gonna give 2. 1 is Crude. Yeah, because they're so underpowered that if you beat them, basically you lose either way. If you beat them, it was everybody's like, they're Crude, of course you did. But if you lose to Crude, everybody's like, oh, so like when are you killing yourself? Can I like donate to that? Because fuck you. And it's like, oh, okay, yeah, thanks. I deserve it. And it's like, that's not a good. You don't want to lose to Crude. Like, what do you say?
Yeah.
What do you say?
I know. There's a pressure as a YouTube channel too. That's like, I give people advice to just like, you take a loss to something like that. It's just like, I cannot show my face right now.
You'd have to tell your opponent, please do not tell anyone you beat me with Crude. You have to give them. Yeah, you give them complete ownership of your channel at that point. You're just like, hand
just
over
take
the password. Yeah.
So
like fair
it's like, it's yours now, dude. Yeah.
Good luck.
I know.
Yeah. But that's like legit. I would hate to lose to Crude. I would be so salty if I lost to Crude. Like, I know that I should be happy. I know that I should be like, hey man, good job. Crude are really tough to play. Good job you. But I want to be the one making that win. I don't want to be the one losing to it, because that's bullshit.
Yeah.
I'd be so pissed off. I'd just be saying, you dice, like, I didn't get the injury rolls, and it'd be bad.
So even if they were just masterfully played and piloted, and they just like, without a shadow of a doubt, were the better general there, it would still hurt, huh?
No one's a better general than me. That doesn't make any sense.
I see.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'd still be super salty. Yeah, just because I lost to Crude. The other one is going to have to be Drukhari.
Drukhari suck.
Rax. just
Yeah.
because it's similar to Custodes. If you're losing to Rax, chances are it's just because they made some 4-up invuln saves.
Yep. Dude, Drukhari, they have no business being as good as they are. What the heck?
So good.
Like, they are Eldar better than Eldar. Like, what is happening? I like I said, I went away for a few months and came back. Everybody was playing them, and they suck to play against, dude.
They do.
Like, there's just this weird gumbo soup kind of a thing that happens that doesn't make sense. But when you put a -1 to hit on that toughness 3 guy, who also has a 5-up save and a 6-up invuln, it's just like he won't die. How does he's 12 points? What is happening? I've put so many shots into this guy. How is he still there? Oh, still have to roll an injury roll, flesh wound. Damn it! Like, he's still alive. He's still scoring. How? I don't know. They piss me off. Yeah. Drukhari.
I think the other thing about Drukhari is they're relatively cheap, and they all have kind of a special rule, and because they're so cheap, even though the special rule doesn't go off regularly, it goes off on a 6 kind of thing, you have so many chances at it happening that it will happen consistently in a game. Not against the model you want it to happen against, you can't control that. But, those mandrakes, if you get a 6 on their shot, mortal wound. But there are enough of them that you can probably get that every other turn minimum.
Yep.
So that's quite painful to play against. Yeah.
And also, it's just like, we were talking about the Custodes thing, too. It's kind of a similar situation with those grotesques. Like, in a practice game... Yeah. Couple of weeks ago, my buddy was playing a grotesque, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna YOLO some flamers into this guy and see what happens. I put 5 flamers into this guy. 1 was a demo spec, and I didn't do 1 wound. Not even like an injury roll. Not anything. No, not a wound to this guy. That is just disgusting. 5d6 auto hits.
Oof,
not a wound.
I mean, they are T5 4-up invuln, right?
Yeah, but you'd think I'd get a wound.
No,
wound would be nice. Yes.
That's the way it goes.
Because sometimes you got to look at the numbers and be like, is this really how it is? And then you do it, you're like, yes, it's really how it is.
Yeah. Like, when it comes to charging a flamer, I hate to do it, right? But if you have a T5 model, you can charge a flamer. Like, that's something...
T5 with 4 wounds and a 4-up invuln, you're okay. You're okay. Get in there.
Yeah. It goes against my better judgment, like my gut instinct, but any T5 model can charge a flamer and is probably safe.
Yep.
Yeah. Not that there are that many T5 models, but yeah. Okay. Moving on. 54 minutes in. Most unplayed faction. What are your thoughts? Firstly, which one and why do you think?
All right, can I put a stipulation on this? Most unplayed that should be played?
If you want, sure. That makes more sense. Otherwise, it would just be crude. Yeah.
Deathwatch.
Okay.
I think the Deathwatch are a lot better than people give them credit for. They have a lot of things that Astartes can do, and there's no reason they should be like bottom tier, which is basically the result of people just not running them, right? Like we look at them, we say, oh, this is a bottom tier faction. It's kind of like, well, they're not represented at all. And then it's like somebody gives them a shot, has a huge punishing moment, and then looks online. Yeah, I mean, of course that happened. They suck. Play another team, and so they give up on them, and it's just they just keep staying in this weird spot. But I think they have a lot of tools.
Okay.
They could have done very well in BAO format at least.
Is anyone running Deathwatch?
Yeah, somebody in Eric's pod, but I don't know if they they've played yet. Just the one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. See?
Yeah. I'm surprised. I mean, their frag kind of just comes to life in Arena, doesn't it?
Absolutely, because it's like I was talking to somebody about this the other day, because they were writing me about like how they were going to start thinking about every move and things like that. And I just kind of said, look, what taught me a lot was I learned to see the future by learning to create the future in the game. So when you move up, with a vet spec frag cannon, you give people a few choices. You say, look, you come to me in charge, you get these 2d6 auto hits. You stand on this objective, you get 2d6 auto hits, or you can hide. There's really 3 options for you now. Which are you going to do? So that's some of the beauty of this, and that's why I'm saying maybe it's coloring my judgment to have been playing BAO so much. But just like having won in a tournament with them in the past, seeing like BAO and the secondaries and things that could work for them, I really think that they could have done well in BAO.
Okay, I agree. I think in Arena they're really strong, especially on what is it? There's a map where you kind of have like 4 lanes. You know, you set up on the long edge of the board. Well, they could just lock 3 of those down immediately, can't they? That's really cool, actually.
Yep. But plus, there's like some beardy stuff you can do, like Tau, for example. What you can do is just like start under strength and vet move up, and then you're like right on that thing, and then it's like, okay, you just ready. And either way, you're going to get to shoot, or if they kill you, you do the 2 CP for only in death to just drench. You know, you put it all on a what is it called? A rail rifle, which in Arena a lot of times they only have 2 rail rifles. So you put it all on a rail rifle, and you tell them, okay, this is now 2d6 mortal wounds if you want to pass that off. Right. Or you can just lose this guy. So either way, you get to put them in that position, and then it's like, okay, one half of their kind of their ranged threat is now gone. So you have your other guys with like storm shields and the power sword and stuff, and that's what you go maybe the maul, something like that, and you threaten on the objectives and skirmish off against the drones.
2d6 hits. So I think insane. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. Especially if they want to convert that to mortal wounds.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, if they want to. Great. But they won't. That's insane.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, okay, let the rail go. It's like you can lose a big chunk of your melee or your ranged threat, or you can put this onto your positional guys and just lose a crap load of drones, or you can do a split and lose both. It puts... Deathwatch is all about putting extremely hard decisions on the opponent. Like, okay, charge me, 2d6 auto hits at strength 6, AP 1. Come on in. Or it's like, oh, well, okay, they'll hide out of range. Okay, well, now I'm strength 9, AP 3, 2 damage. It's just like, no matter what they do, if you learn to set it up to where your opponents are screwed no matter what, it's a really strong team. But you got to, like, practice openings and things like that, I noticed with Deathwatch.
Sure, yeah. You need to know what you're doing, definitely. Because obviously the reason that they aren't as good as regular Astartes, despite them having, in my opinion, just generally better weapons, is that they don't have a way to stop themselves from dying. So they're really fragile. And they don't have the double sidebolt of Grey Knights. Which is just fundamentally better than any weapon because of the, as you like to say, there's no hit roll, there's no wound roll, you just kill them, basically.
Yeah, the efficiency is just... Oh, okay, go to the mortal wound, or go to the injury roll. You've bypassed all the gates in the way.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to put the same stipulation on it as you did, because otherwise it's a really boring question. And I'm also going to pick something other than Deathwatch. Oh man, that is a big question. So I'm going to go, and I'm just going to say it. Elicidian Star Striders. I think they're not as bad as everyone says, especially in Arena, where, okay, their big issue, obviously, as we all know, is that they're T3 5-up saves. But in Arena, you have a lot of interesting specialists that can kind of kill stuff, and you're not at the mercy of being T3 because you can't get shot, assuming you know how to position. And I don't know why we aren't seeing them, actually, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I think that they would beat me just because they're a giant question mark. Like, I would not know what to expect.
Sure.
Yeah, like I would not know what they're doing, what their plan is, how to counter that,
Yeah.
And that puts me at a massive disadvantage. So there's, just playing something niche has an edge sometimes. So definitely.
I think for both of us, as we both know roughly what we're talking about when we play Kill Team, the idea of charging into Nosso Prond is like, I should probably charge that model, right? As like, yeah, probably, with that guy who you've built for combat. It's like, okay, what does Nosso Prond do? It's like, I've got no idea. I'm going to charge it because I should. It's like, oh, oh, it's a specialist retainer that is a combat and gets to attack first, and is basically has the same ability as a striking scorpion. So on a 6, you take a wound. All that bollocks. It's like, I shouldn't have charged you, should I? Oh wow, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like, just playing something niche and unknown gives you a little edge sometimes.
Oh, you know what you could do then, as Astartes? Play in curses, because they're terrible. Nobody plays them. Nobody would know what they do.
Yeah, I dropped I had one. I think I'm the first person in history to have taken an incursor with a haywire mine. And
somebody took them against me. Somebody took them against my custodians.
Damn, I thought that was my mantle, I was like, I did it. I took that 5-point haywire mine that maybe does nothing, and a guy
50-50 chance to do one mortal wound. Bad pick against Custodes, I've got to say. He won, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, bad pick. Oh wait, no, I won that one. Sorry, that was the one I actually won.
But yeah, I vet moved up and dropped it in front of a door instead of closing the door.
It's not a bad
dropped
idea.
It in front of the. It's like, come on out.
Did it work?
And no. Well, here's what it did. It made them think about it for a turn and then not come. They had to position the grotesque to be able to run through, because they're like, oh, a mortal wound on him isn't going to matter that much. And then so they repositioned their guys, did a little shuffle for turn 1, turn 2, sent the guy out, and then it did nothing. But it bought me a turn 1. It was my ability to take hold more, I think.
Yeah. Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. All right. Now, just a super quick one here. We don't need to say much about it. We don't need to go super into it. But what is your biggest crazy list idea?
Oh, holy crap!
Yeah.
All lictors with the Leviathan. No, not Leviathan. It's one of the ones. It's a sub-faction where if you don't move, or if you don't advance, you count as being obscured.
Yeah, Behemoth, is it?
No, Behemoth is rerolling charges.
Okay. Gorgon.
It's not Leviathan. No, Gorgon is rerolling failed wounds of 1.
That one, sure.
The one. Yeah, that nobody remembers. Yeah, it might be Tiamat. I can't remember.
Oh, could be.
But yeah. So your lictors will always kind of be at a -2, and then so the cheese here is that Metabolic Overdrive is 2 normal moves now. So you would have an 18-inch basically normal move and still count as obscured afterwards, maybe.
Okay.
Just like things like that, get into kind of place and then maybe get a charge off somewhere and up an atom from somewhere else to get somebody else in if the packet is ruled correctly for once.
Yeah.
So there's some shenanigans there, maybe. I don't know. Crazy list idea.
Okay. So all lictors.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
All lictors.
I guess mine would be, this is open board only, not an arena. This would suck in arena. 100% Eldar Guardians. There you go.
Just go for spam, but with Guardians.
Yeah, I mean, well, at 125, that's going to be 20 Guardians. Have fun with that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Take the one that gives you, the 6-up invuln, feel no pain thing, and then just go for it. Yeah.
You might need to take with a list like that. You might want to take Iandin for the D3 on nerf tests.
I did consider that, but then I thought you have so many bodies on the board, you're going to have to lose 10 before you have to take a roll, and chances are you're going to make some 6s on that. But
yeah,
either one, it's not a good idea. It's just an idea. So yeah.
Well, hey man, that's kind of like what I did with shotguns at SoCal. So
that's true.
Mass neophytes. So
yeah.
I mean, you would be able to advance and still shoot without penalty. That could work.
Yeah. Okay, we're kind of slowly bringing it round now. Hour and 5 minutes in to 40k, but before we get there, we're going to talk about something this is just us jerking ourselves off, really. Nobody else cares about this, but okay, so here's the bullet point. Content creators moving on to other things, good or bad, fresh pastures, rise of new creators, or scene dies. Allow me to put that into a full sentence instead of a bullet point.
Okay.
So obviously we've spoken a little bit, and we are both pretty excited for 40k, right?
Correct.
And we're not saying we're 100% going to leave Kill Team forever, but we both quite like the idea of kind of expanding the brand, if you will. Ooh, I don't mind saying the word brand. I can already feel some people didn't like me saying the word brand. Let me rephrase. We want to expand our area of interest and show that we don't like just Kill Team. Show that we play other things too. And I'm really excited for 40k. Not specifically because I think 9th is going to be the best thing ever in the world, but just because it's new, and now is kind of a good launching pad for me to start talking about it. Much like Kill Team. That was what made me start my channel. It wasn't that I particularly felt ready before or after it, but it was like, you know what? Kill Team's new. I want to talk about Kill Team. Let's just start the channel now. Similar for 40k. It's not like I feel like I'm in a really good place to talk about it now, but it's new. Why not? Now's as good a time as any.
Yeah.
Do you think, hypothetically, maybe you're going to turn around and say, Andy, you're talking shit? I've never said any of this, you're lying, and I plan to cover Kill Team exclusively forever. But, hypothetically, do you think that, because, the two of us are the biggest Kill Team exclusive content creators at the moment on YouTube. There are others, but they're not exclusive. For example, Tabletop Minions, Uncle Adam. He talks about Kill Team quite a lot, actually, doesn't he? But he's not exclusive to it. And he doesn't seem to mix in the same circles as us. So,
yeah.
Good for him, though. Anyone bringing more people into the hobby is awesome. But do you think that if we were to move on and no longer discuss Kill Team, is that good for the Kill Team scene? Do you think in our absence, new content creators will rise and become bigger influencers? Or do you think it would hurt the scene?
Wow,
this is a very meta discussion.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions in there.
Pick one you want to answer.
Yeah. If we stopped, I don't think we would completely stop, right? Like, I think that with, for example, in order to do Crusade, a lot of people are very interested in Crusade. Well, in order to do that, you have to do Combat Patrol. And from Combat Patrol, we have 2 years head start on that in Kill Team.
No, that's a separate one. We're coming to that. That's another bullet point. Okay. That's still on the docket.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm just saying that it's like I don't think we would need to stop. But on the other hand, like, I'm really excited for this because I'm a player first, right? Like, I would not be able to do my videos if I was not also a player. It's just not like the kind of content. I don't do unboxing really, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. Like good joy, mates. It's, here's something really cool today and it's glorious, and like, we're not doing that kind of content.
Thanks GW for sending this to me free of charge.
Right. So
cheeky.
Like, we have to be able to play, and that's what excites me is the thought at more tournaments, right? Because there will always be more 40k tournaments than Kill Team, probably. And so that's what interests me. But like, so one, I don't think we would stop. Two, yes, I think that if we did, there would be people that would come to fill the gap, because there's a lot of people that are, into it, and they're young and vital, basically. Like, they aren't burned out, tired, had a million shitty comments by this point, just like things like that. Like, they're just happy to get 1,000 views, for example, or something like that. Meanwhile, my channel is very much on the decline. It's very much like lower views, things like that. People that are into the game, they might check out a video here and there about a faction they're interested in, but when I make a content that is about Space Marines and somebody didn't sub for Space Marines, and they get that notification to their email because they click that bell icon, but they don't click it because the video doesn't apply to them, that kind of tells YouTube that I suck. So it's like, it's a weird kind of a thing to navigate all of this. So that comes to, is it a good idea to split and talk about new things? Well, I mean, that's you're kind of dividing the audience at that point. Some people would say it's better to do a whole another channel based on 40k. But for me, I probably whatever I'm obsessed with at the moment, that's what I'm going to make Kill Team, or what I'm going to make content about. And I used to do more 40K content. I haven't in over a year really talked about Kill Team. I mean, non-Kill Team. So for me, it wouldn't be too terrible. I might still have some of those old subs that would start watching again, something like that. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that answered anything. There's so much to talk about in
Yeah. I mean, well,
that.
we have, again, discussed all of this offline already. It's not like I'm asking a completely out there question you've never thought about.
Yeah,
you know?
we've thought about this and stuff. We've been giving this thought. Like, is it gonna hurt Kill Team if we start talking about big 40K? Which I don't think that it will.
No, I don't think. Yeah.
And I'm excited for it. In a way.
To be clear, I didn't write these questions because I wanted to ask you, but then ignore you, and then actually give my answer. I haven't. I wrote these 10 minutes before we started the call because I was like,
Cool.
I better not blank in the middle of this.
Yeah.
And so it's not like I've thought this through and I really wanted to stand on my soapbox or anything. But okay, so I've made a few videos on my channel back before I did my beginner series where I was talking about my channel isn't performing very well and it's on the way down, and the reason for this is this, and so I want to start talking about other things because it will reinvigorate my channel. And I generally got negative comments about that.
Yeah.
Firstly, the videos didn't perform well. Secondly, everybody said, why you, I don't care, just talk about Kill Team, that's why I'm here. Which is totally understandable, because I've made a Kill Team channel, But yeah, I totally get that a lot of people don't care that a content creator wants their channel to be healthy. If you want to view it that, they're there for Kill Team, and as long as you're talking about Kill Team, they're happy, and they don't really care that your channel's dying, if you want to term it that way. And I totally understand that. I'm the same. If I'm watching somebody else's channel because I like, I don't know, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and they suddenly start covering, I don't know, For Honor or Minecraft, I'm like, well, this channel's shit. I'm never watching Minecraft. That's terrible, obviously. So I totally understand that. But as somebody that would quite like my channel to be healthy, for a variety of really good reasons, just to very quickly clarify those reasons, let's say my end goal, and this is true actually, is I want to get more people playing in the hobby. Not necessarily Kill Team, but in general. That is, I suppose, my ultimate goal, because my fear is always I won't have people to play against, right? Round London. And for me, if I can't play the game, what's the point? Like making my YouTube channel is part of the Warhammer hobby for me. That's how I view it. And a big part of my motivation is to get more players. Partly so that, I could put at the end or beginning of every video, I'm in London and I have no one to play against, message me please, right? And I would probably find some games that way, if that was what if I was struggling to find games. And, sorry. So getting more people into the hobby is a very big thing for me, because I think it just helps everybody. However, if my channel was 2 subscribers, and they're both me on my alternate accounts, I'm not able to grow that hobby. I'm not able to build a community. And obviously I'm looking at this from a self-centered perspective of I want to find myself games. But let's say, by growing a larger community, you can help everybody get more games. If you get large enough, when somebody types in Dawn of War because they're interested in that computer game, your channel can pop up and new players can see you saying, hey, this is a physical game and this is a group of players that play here. And that's it's entirely possible to build a bigger community, but you have to have a bigger channel to do it. I think that a lot of people view YouTube creators saying they want to grow their channel as they want more ad revenue. Possibly, if people saw how little ad revenue people of our size get, they might realise that that's kind of an unobtainable goal. Like, when I'm at 100k, you know, doing a video a day, getting 50k views a day, then it's actually an income I need because I've probably quit my job to get it, right? But at this point, I just want people to play against, if I'm honest.
Well, like people need to understand that, like, I mean, there is this weird, like, noble poverty kind of a mindset that happens a lot of times, the fact is that being successful allows a lot of things. It allows for improvement of content. When I first started this channel, it was me talking into a cell phone. There were no cut screens. There was no intro. I mean, no nothing. It was just me talking, not a microphone, into a cell phone. And now I have, because of, you know, patrons and all this kind of stuff, the ad revenue, a laptop that's just for this, internet that's just for this. You know what I mean? Like an iPhone, so I can go out, and I still have my old original phone, but I have the iPhone because it's got the ability to shoot in 4K specifically to do kill team. So it's like, you have to be successful to have a good channel. Like, it's a weird vicious cycle. It's
catch-22.
When you right, that to have the good content, you have to be able to be getting that ad revenue to stay up and have all these kinds of things. But you don't have all those kinds of things unless you have the ad revenue. But to get that, you need the views to fund the things that you want to do for your channel. It's just like this, like you said, catch-22. It's a weird thing that happens. So people, I think that if you think that YouTube is important to you, that they need to understand how important it is for that channel to also be successful. And that doesn't happen when people aren't clicking. Doesn't happen when people aren't watching, like, shortly after a video is posted. Not just, okay, I watch your videos. YouTube has a thing called velocity. They want you to be watched as soon as you post. And then they want you to start a session. They want somebody to come into YouTube, watch your videos, and then click off to watch something else eventually that, you know, leads you on a binge for like an hour of spending time on that platform, because then they can run more ads in front of that person that's viewing and things like that. So they incentivize the channels, and they massively punish channels depending on where you fall in that spectrum. So it's a weird thing that people that are not part of YouTube or into this, they never really know about how much their behavior online affects the content creator and things like that. You know, how much a like or a sub actually does affect things, or watching a video as soon as it's posted, or watching a video to completion, and what you do after you watch that video. All of this is really, really interesting, you know.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we have an interest in it for incredibly obvious reasons, but I totally get why some people might have skipped over this bookmark in the conversation, because they're like, well, I'm not a content creator, I don't care. Which makes total sense, obviously. But yeah. Anyway.
But it's like, this is the kind of stuff that allows us to be content creators. It's kind of like, do you like the content? Because there's all this stuff behind the scenes. You know, there's the motivations of, look, I'm a human being, I like to play, and like you were talking about, like, do we talk about other things? How much of this is hobby? How much of this is business? And, you know, where do we go with that? I mean, there's so many things that each individual YouTuber is kind of juggling with this. So it's a really interesting conversation, I think. And it's interesting. It's not too often that people get to see behind the scenes for their favorite YouTuber or something like that. Those kind of considerations that are going on, even with Patreon and things like that.
Yeah. I mean, Patreon's a whole nother kettle of fish, frankly, because you will always make more money from Patreon than you will from a single video ad, at our level, at least, or my level, at least.
Each patron is basically 1,000 views, depending on your ad revenue. Yeah. But it's like you had 1,000 views that month.
I mean, sorry. But even though that covers the financial loss of an AdSense, you know, getting ad revenue from your video, if you still do a bad video and it doesn't get clicks, even though you make up that money from Patreon, you still damage the rest of your entire channel. And it's like, ooh, well now anyway, I am genuinely all about building a community of like-minded players, but to get
you have to be successful to do that.
Get that, I should just go and do a 40k battle report a day, right?
Right.
And that's it. And churn them out for several years. That would get me that community.
Yeah, because today's video that you're aiming, like, okay, my starter series or something like that, is based on yesterday's video's success.
Yeah.
And so will it be recommended to that brand new player who's searching? Well, that depends on what you did the day before and, you know, how that video did. So it's a really interesting kind of a thing. But yes, in order to get helpful material in front of somebody and get them into this game, you have to be kicking ass in terms of algorithm. You have to be doing very well, because there's other people who are humping that sweet, sweet kill team ass whenever something comes out that have done, you know, oh, I'm talking about just what's current, just what's big, all this stuff. And then that's what gets recommended, and people go and watch that, and it's total misinformation because this channel doesn't play kill team. They're just humping that sweet, sweet ass. There's what's current. So, you know, somebody goes, they get misinformed, they go to a game store or something, they have a terrible experience, and now it's blamed on kill team. YouTubers have a lot more importance and influence and stuff than we're given credit for. I think it's like a lot of responsibility, like how much effort I put into trying to get things right. You know, and you too, I imagine, with your starter series and things like that, it's a lot of work.
Oh well,
to make sure that somebody gets the right information.
No. Okay, so that's the thing, though. This is the real catch-22, and you know we've talked about this again. If you get something wrong, somebody that wasn't going to comment will now comment to tell you you're wrong, and that's engagement, which increases the views on your video, which is so stupid. Like,
well, that's the thing. It helps your channel to
get
have
things
like
wrong.
50 million comments that, hey, you're an idiot, you messed up. But did the guy that was brand new and just bought a box of orcs, does he know how to discern that through the comments that you made that mistake? And, you know, this huge thing that he's now going to go do that's wrong isn't a thing. And he's going to like maybe refer back to your video. But no, but Beeranid said it was totally possible. It's like that. I don't know. It's a weird kind of a thing.
It's very strange. Anyway, to get myself back on track, I got way off there. Is us... Okay, so I agree. Sorry, neither of us are going to just drop Kill Team completely. That would be insane for us to do. It wouldn't make any sense, either from a purely business perspective or from a personal enjoyment perspective, I feel. Certainly, I already have like my next 8 videos planned, and they're all Kill Team. Well, and some Warcaster, but they're mainly Kill Team. So, yeah, and I can confirm that there is no chance I'm dropping Kill Team for at least 2020. So that's another 6 months right there, because I'm like running a tournament in Germany in December, assuming that COVID doesn't destroy everything. And that's going to be a Kill Team tournament. So that's a big thing. You know, I can't stop talking about Kill Team 6 months before we're doing a 32-man tournament in like the Black Forest of Germany, in like a hotel and all that stuff. That would be insane for me to do, right? Because just because it reflects poorly on me if I can't fill a 32-man tournament, in my opinion. But yeah. So if we were to leave, is that good or bad for the Kill Team scene? I think it would be neutral. If I'm honest, I think there might be an initial downturn in Kill Team views, but it's not like we're the only content creators on YouTube for Kill Team. And so as people realised that we were no longer covering Kill Team, they would say, okay, well, who else is doing it? Oh, right, we've got these guys, we've got those guys, we've got them as well. And they're all fresher channels than ours that don't put out much content, let's be honest. But once they started they get caught in the same cycle we get caught in, which is they realise, oh wait, my Kill Team videos are really picking up now. Oh, I'll make more. At which point they would replace us wholeheartedly, because they would then have the enthusiasm, I assume, to put out more content. Because
and it's like I was saying,
us
like
old timers aren't hogging the spotlight.
Yeah, and also like I keep saying, I think there's a lot of overlap between the new 40K and Kill Team and things like that. And If anything, I think that people that are interested in that need to revisit some Kill Team stuff because it's going to be big, you know.
Okay, so that is our next thing, but very quickly, in the future, before we jump on to 40k being the same as Kill Team, in the future, my channel, I hope to be Kill Team, as I said, for the next 6 months, because I've got the tournament in Germany, and LGT, that's still happening in September, apparently. But COVID, who knows? Is going to be Kill Team. 40k, as I slowly grow into Combat Patrol. The reason I'm saying Combat Patrol, not just Giant 40k, is because I'm a really slow painter. That's the only reason. I know myself, it's going to take me ages to paint stuff. And then Warcaster by Privateer Press. I'm super hyped for that. It's a super interesting rule set. There are many reasons I like it, but I know it's not your thing, so I shan't go into it here. But
yeah, I'm only into 40k IP, and I'm like that with everything. Like, oh, there's a Steam sale, and I'm just like, does it have Space Hulk?
Yeah,
you know, which it did. I got it. Yay.
Oh, good. It's a good game. Well,
yeah,
it's a nice looking game, I guess. But yeah. So that's kind of my plan. And I'm this Friday, which will now probably be last Friday, whenever I release this, I'm releasing my first kind of real battle report for Kill Team, and depending on how that performs, will decide whether or not I do more battle reports, which is kind of scary because I'd like to do battle reports. I'd like to be a battle report channel, but if it only gets like 1,000 views, then it's like, oh well, okay. Never mind then. I can get easier clicks by, I don't know, some clickbait title where I talk about, I don't know, dice or something. I don't know.
Just write boobs in all caps.
Yeah. Have like a picture of a girl in like yoga shorts on the front. On
just
the thumbnail.
Boobs 40k.
Yeah.
60,000 clicks. Anyways,
I was like, oh no, you know what? I bring one of my female friends round, take a snapshot of her, that could be the thumbnail, and then type, we play strip Kill Team, or whatever. 1 million views, all of them downvotes, all of them from incels, and it's like, yeah, fair play, but you just grew my channel by like double, so I'll take it. I will not do that, by the way. Anyway, what about your channel? Like
what about my channel?
Do you have a plan for like the next 6 months? Not super in depth, but what are you talking about?
I do. Yeah, I'm going to be talking about 40k a lot. The Kill Team stuff. I'm going to be finishing up my Astartes series, but I'm really excited for 40k, and I see a lot of people making stuff that I don't necessarily think is the correct or accurate interpretation of some things. And
can you tell us who that is?
No.
Okay.
I'm talking about basically everybody now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, because right now it's like there's, for example, we had 2 weeks of tanks can shoot in combat now. Wow. And then it came out. It was like, except for blast weapons. Which we know. Okay, that's the Lehman Russ battle turret is blast. So okay, you can still get your sponsons, but it's not quite tanks shoot out of combat all the time, always now, which is what it was billed for 2 weeks, right? Because these people, we don't have all of the information, and they're just dying to make content. Oh, got to make that content. Got to chase the algorithm. And the fact of the matter is they are not having a complete picture, and it's actually going to be causing people, I think, to have to relearn things once the rules actually do come out. So I'm waiting to make content on that till we have some stuff, but I have a lot of thoughts on this game already. As I've said 5 times already, I think that Kill Team players have a 2-year head start on the competitive version of this game, and that we could be dark horse players that just show up. Nobody's ever heard of us before, but holy crap.
That is the next question. That is the next question.
Yeah.
So let's rein that in for a moment.
So I'm planning to make a video on this that goes a little bit more in depth, but Mike Brandt is now in charge of the competitive aspect of 40k 9th
What are your
edition.
thoughts on that?
My thoughts are that Mike Brandt was in charge of the competitive aspect for Kill Team for the first 8 to 10 months of this game's lifespan. Annihilation, Nova, Arena.
Yeah.
These are all Brant formats, and they all shared what the current 40K format now shares, which is hold primaries, which we've already seen 2 years of that Darwinian experiment. What do we know?
Okay, hold on. Rein it in. Stop it there. You're going into the wrong thing. You're going into the wrong thing. Okay. Super quickly, then you can continue. The final point on that was, you just mentioned other channels chasing the YouTube algorithm, getting rules wrong. It's been amazing for their channels. Just going very quickly back to the whole YouTube content creator thing, it doesn't matter if you get things wrong. It has been amazing content for their channels. I mean, Auspex Tactics is the one I'm thinking of. I love his channel. He does great stuff. His channel has exploded in the past month alone, because he's talking about value.
I want people to leave my videos with knowledge, armed with something, a tactic, a strategy, information they didn't have before. So that's why I'm kind of like, a little bit. I will do that as I'm able, but right now that's what I was talking about, is that this is what I do know, what I do think so far, which was getting into what I was talking about.
Okay, so I'll frame it for you. Right. We have recently seen the latest, the first. It's possible we're wrong, and every other Combat Patrol mission is different, right? But we have seen one Combat Patrol mission, and it is shockingly similar to Kill Team Competitive.
Right, to the Brant's Kill Team Competitive.
Oh, well, the official GW
and competitive. I have kind of a source that is saying that they're all going to be like that. Whether it's Combat Patrol, Big Hammer, anything, that it is not the ITC hold one, hold more, kill one, kill more. It's going back for them to hold one, hold two, hold more, which, like I was saying, we know how that plays out. Which it's a format about bodies. It's a format about be the fastest, have the most bodies, or be the most durable with the most bodies. Which, if you look, what is everybody crying about right now that doesn't know that? Everybody's on the chat lines. Oh, my hordes are so horribly nerfed. Look at what's going on with the change to detachments. Why are detachments costing you CP now? Because that's how you get bodies. What is the new blast thing intended to nerf? Bodies. You know what I mean? It's like going into this thing where we know that bodies will be king in this format, that kills do not matter aside from maybe a couple. Oh, you got a secondary point. That's cool. But you're dominating on the primaries if you have bodies, and even better if you have bodies and speed. And so while everybody is talking right now about how this is going to be the multiple small unit faction, I'm almost thinking still that it is going to be where you want the most units and models and stuff like that for the smallest amount of command points spent. So, for example, things like conscripts, where you're taking just massive amounts of these things in a giant squad, and you're taking all 6 of that in a battalion. You can get to like 100-something Hormagaunts for very cheap, like 720 points, even if they raise the points considerably. And I think that that's what you're going to want to do. But I'm still waiting for the rules to come out before I go and I say this kind of stuff in a Tactica video and things like that. I think that this could have been a video that would have done well. Maybe I should do it, right? Like we're saying that. I
actually don't know. I don't know why you're not doing it. If I'm being entirely honest, as I just said, even if you're getting information completely wrong, it's right for when you release it. Who cares?
I see.
Who cares?
Yeah, I was just worried somebody might have to relearn things. But as I see it, we've played this format.
Yeah, we have.
And we know. We know. It's like, oh, all shield drones. Okay, well, that might be an issue in 40K because objective secured, and you can take only like a max 30, but it's like, okay, Hormagaunt spam would directly apply. Orc Boy spam would directly apply. The all neophyte shotgun kind of a thing for Gene Stealer Colts would directly apply. A lot of these things, we know what the win condition is, and that's what matters. The win condition is hold more than them. So be faster, have more bodies, get there first, be harder to remove, things like that. That's what it comes down to. And there are lists that you can build from one detachment while everybody else is trying to do multiple small units. There's one detachment where you could lose like 20 guys a turn just from your 720 points of your 2,000 list and be okay. You could do that for 6 turns. There's 20 models from that, a squad a turn, and you'd still be grinding that out. Because, like I said, kill team players, we've looked at this, we know what the win condition is, and we just translate that to more models, basically. And the fact of the matter is, Big 40K, they have all the quote-unquote commanders that we've neglected, so it can get even more insane with like the leadership buffs and invulns and auras and synergies and all that, to where, I don't know. That's long story short, I think that is where things are right now. If I was making content, I think I'd be talking about this kind of a thing.
Yeah, there's no reason not to.
Yeah. Because I want people to win more games, right? I want them to be like, thanks, Beeranid, I won this tournament because of your video. Like, that is such a good feeling, right? Like,
yeah. I wouldn't know. Nobody's ever said that about me, but yeah, sure.
Okay. Yes.
No, I am. So the thing is, I don't know enough about 40K to talk about it, right? Similar to you, I know I could chase that algo, and it would probably be really healthy for my views. But I would be talking a little bit of bollocks, right? I wouldn't be able to say anything specific about the game. I could talk super generally, and if I did it with enough confidence, people probably wouldn't notice that I'm not saying anything real. But yeah. I mean, as soon as I saw that combat patrol mission, I was like, oh, that's a kill team mission. That is exactly what we played and what we know. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, oh, I know how to play that. I could probably beat a lot of people playing that game right now. Even though I don't know how to play 40K, I know the mission, and I know what wins it. So
we've played that mission for years already. It's just like translating it to, okay, now I have more bodies to do that with, or this different faction, or now I'm better at leadership, or whatever.
Yeah. And I think one interesting thing on Mr. Brand, a divisive figure among the kill team community, but as far as I'm aware, I haven't met the guy myself. As far as I'm aware, he is apparently, people say very, very intelligent, very good at what he does. A very good player as well, apparently. So it's not like he doesn't know what he's doing. So I do think he has the credentials, right?
Yeah.
I'm not in any way implying he's writing a bad pack or anything like that. And it was confirmed that Kill Team was a test bed for the new combat patrol, like mission-wise. One of the playtesters said that. I can't remember on which podcast, but they gave it the thumbs up. I'm like, yep, that's what happened. So that's cool. That's good. However, I do remember that, okay, you and I are biased maybe because we have a hand in making the new Kill Team packs. We're part of a community that openly talks about it. And so we both kind of agree that Hold One, Kill One, or Hold Kill, is kind of superior, right? But
well, it's a funner game, right? Because I'm playing solitaire when I'm running 17 cultists with shotgun. The other guy doesn't need to be there.
Yeah,
like I just do what my thing was made to do, and I win the game, and then I go home. Like that is very different when you suddenly switch to hold and kill, which is what the ITC was doing for Big 40K.
Yes.
And so that's the thing, is that eventually you find that one faction does certain things better than the other faction. Oh, this team is more killy than this team. This team is more this than that team. And when it's all about speed or durability or max bodies, or some combination of that, some teams are going to do that better than, say, Astartes or Custodes or whatever, no matter how killy you are, because kills are irrelevant. They do not give you points. They do not point you to the win condition that makes you take home the medal at the end of the day, the way that bodies on, standing around do. So that's the thing that it comes down to, is that, this is what the reason I brought up Mike Brent is that this is the same guy who wrote the pack that we played, Nova and Annihilation and Arena and things like that. And then now is writing the 40K packs. And so that's all I'm saying, is that we know what to expect here, and we know how to beat this. And eventually it's going to come down to certain factions are not viable. Certain factions can compete, but this one does it better. So you get like bad matchups and things like that, and it's a lot of just not fun standing around just grinding. And I personally saw the format killing Kill Team, because it was like, oh, okay, I just can't win against 20 Hormagaunts with this build that I brought, that I really liked, that I bought and I put money into, and then I painted up and, put all the time into, and it was like months of wasted time for people to come up against 20 Hormagaunts in a arena list.
Two things.
So,
Obviously, we're looking at it through we play Kill Team competitively. That's how I enjoy playing Kill Team. Even my casual games, they're not narrative. I don't have names of my guys. I haven't given them demeanors. I'm playing to win, essentially, or more often lose, but it's competitive. Combat Patrol, is that actually going to be competitive? And if it's not, nothing really matters, does it? Right?
Well, we know it's at the first LVO. That Kill Team guys are running that, if LVO proceeds.
We don't really know to what level, though, do we?
No, I don't even know if the event will continue, right?
Well, no, indeed,
I probably can't do LVO this year because of COVID and all that.
Sure.
But so, I mean, we know that it will be at tournaments. So there's that. And we know that it's part of Crusade. So to do Crusade, you must go through Combat Patrol. And again, like I said, I'm being told that it's going to be most, if not all, of the general tournament format is going to be hold.
Yeah, okay, I can believe that.
Could be wrong about that, but that's what I'm being told. So it's not just Combat Patrol. This is all of it at a competitive level is hold 1, hold 2, hold more with secondaries. Which is what we've been playing.
Just to go all out here, I suppose. Going back to Kill Team now. So let's ignore 40k. Final note on it. I'm really excited to play it. I'm really excited to play some Combat Patrol. And I'm really excited to build that up to 1,500,
Yeah, I was really excited for, bringing in Space Marines and stuff, but I've already done this grind. Like, that's the thing that kind of bummed me out about it, was it's like, I've already kind of seen that, I'm starting on a back foot and things. Like, what do? Go buy 6 squads of scouts? Do I really want to run 60 scouts? Or do I just, it's like, okay, I already have like 50 Gene Stealer Cultist Neophytes. Maybe that's what I do. Is I just do like 5 squads of that, bring in some like Acolytes and Bikes to drop down and do targeted strikes and just grind off the objectives with Neophytes and Aberrants.
Yeah.
And just run down the clock. Okay, there's only 6 rounds. You can't score on the first round, so actually that's 5 rounds. Can you kill 100 dudes and everything else in that time period? Meanwhile, like, okay, I've identified this is the troop killers in your list. You have like these bombards or something like that. It's just lobbing things without line of sight. Okay, I drop Gene Stealer Cult guys down, do 13 damage to that, probably take it out in 1 turn. If not, next turn I do it again. So just have a couple guys in reserve to do surgical strikes down. It's like I said, we already kind of know how to approach this.
Sure.
So I'm actually hopeful that I'm wrong here, that they don't do it all hold.
Well,
that would be the ideal.
I mean, as you said, though, they have already put in restrictions, ways to ensure that you can kill hordes easier.
Yeah,
they've already done.
That's
that.
What I'm saying. It's like they're everything seems so punishing, and people aren't understanding it when they look at this and they're being told it's the MSU edition.
Yeah,
it's like, no, this is probably because bodies are the only consideration to win this game at the moment. If they continue on with that, so that's probably why. So it's likely, and it's unfortunate, but it's likely that this is how the edition is going to drop. It's going to drop probably broken.
Okay. So I'm not going to make a statement about that. I don't know enough. I can just say I'm excited to play. There you go.
Yeah. I'm excited for it too. I like breaking packs, finding out what's possible and stuff. Like today, there was a huge argument about the new coherency rules. How it's like, okay, it's badly written. What about this? And everyone, no, you can't do that. It's not rules as intended. It's like, well, where does it say what they intended? I'm looking at this, and the rules as written say this. Does this or does this not conform to rules as written?
Are you talking about the
You know.
conga line thing?
Yep.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I've seen all of that. Because we're not throwing up pictures, I think that'd be really hard to debate. But
Yeah.
I've seen people say that. Anyway, you know what? Doesn't matter. I don't know enough. I don't care.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
But yeah. Okay. Moving. So
Yeah,
we're
that's the
both
thing too.
excited.
Is like, I'm just like, is this possible? Everybody's like, oh, you're a bad guy. It's like, wait a minute. I'm just saying, like, the top player at LVO at the next table, what is his interpretation of this going to be? How is a TO going to rule it? You know, I'm not saying I want to do these things. I'm saying, is this legal?
Sure. Yeah.
And if so, they should be happy that I'm bringing this up, because this thing that they're caught off guard by would be happening in a game. It's better to find this out early, you know?
No, definitely.
I think.
Definitely.
I don't know.
Okay, so moving back to Kill Team, we're both hyped for 9th, but long story short.
Yeah.
Moving back to Kill Team, this is going to be like the final topic as well, because we're a minute 50, an hour and 50. You know, a lot of people have a lot of ideas when something first comes out, and perhaps, similar to how we handled Commanders, we kind of skipped it, without the best reasoning. I think Commanders could be just as balanced as Elites, and we just haven't put the effort into modifying it to make it that way. I could be wrong. You know, feel free to tell me, nope, never going to happen. But I do think that with the right, layout of primaries and secondaries, you can balance pretty much anything without changing any of the core rules, right?
Okay.
Can you believe the concept, or do you think I'm wrong?
Yeah, I mean, I just would love to try it and see if it needs anything. Does it slot in well? So yeah.
Okay, it's a workable concept, sure.
We've just not looked at it. We were just like,
we just skipped it.
Oh, here's this whole thing of the game that just doesn't apply because of strategist specialists.
And we could say that we did that because it was released in a poor order. And if Commanders had come after release, it would be a whole different thing. Who knows? Who knows?
Yeah.
But because we mentioned Combat Patrol, and we mentioned the idea that we have more fun in Hold Kill, right, than in Hold 3.
Yes.
Combat Patrol's doing Hold 3, and supposedly Big 40k is going to be doing Hold 3 as well. That's their new format. Yes. Is it possible that we jumped the gun on going away from Hold 3, and we viewed the whole of Kill Team as something that could be changed, and in that big change we could rebalance it, when actually, similar to how we could have included Commanders and just changed the meta around the Commanders, the primaries and the secondaries, we could have stuck with Hold 3 and just changed secondaries and deployments, which is something we've done. We've changed secondaries and deployments in every pack. That's not new. Mm-hmm. We moved away from Hold 3 relatively quickly to kind of, to be more in line with GW. Is it possible we jumped the gun on that? And actually, we could have the same feeling whilst also being in line with GW, which I think is inherently a positive thing, because it makes it less of a change for a new player. And as you know, I'm all about the new players. And it's much easier pill for them to swallow. Like, here are some different secondaries. That's all you need to know. Everything else is the same as in the book. Do you think we moved away from Hold 3 too early?
I mean, I don't think so, because we have had 2 tournaments now. Bay Area Open and LVO are basically the only majors that have had Hold and Kill. We were still discussing this at the SoCal Open last October, and the TOs were hesitant to do it and stuff. And also, this was to move us more in line with what was going on with Big 40K, because at the time ITC was Hold 1, Hold More, Kill 1, Kill More. We were the odd ones out that were playing an incomplete format, it felt, because we only had half of the win condition that the ITC Big 40K had, and it wasn't letting things compete. But with that said, you might have a point, because of the fact that spammy teams have won nothing, not even done well at, other than smaller events and things like that. We had an 8-man, and Tyranids crushed it with a 20-man list. It's like, okay, that can kind of probably still happen, but in terms of like majors and stuff, like running Tyranids right now is crushing and hold and kill. It invalidated a lot of things, and I wish that some of that would still be there, because like I don't hate the positional play. Like that's the thing, is I think that Brant really favors positional play with his packets, and I really like that kind of play. It's just that I don't want it to be the only kind of play. I don't like that it excluded certain factions from doing well at all. So yeah, you could have a point. Maybe this is the way to do it. Maybe it just needs better secondaries. I keep saying, in terms of secondaries, the only way to get to a positive place is to eventually have it be faction specific, because right now if I try to change something because Custodes abuse it in a pack, that's going to affect everybody, not just Custodes.
Yeah.
So it would be better to have something that was Custodes only, that where if they needed a buff or a nerf, we can go directly to that faction, to their secondaries, and make that change. Is that going to happen? No, probably not. A lot of people are going to be focusing on combat patrol and things like that we're focusing on 40k. A lot of people are sticking with just hold and kill in future formats, it looks like, for kill team. But you could have a point. I don't know. It could have been the right thing, and we just didn't give it enough time. I don't know. We gave it over a year and a half.
Well, we did, but at the same time, to defend ourselves, I guess. I think that only by taking something apart can you learn how it works. I think until we tried hold kill, we didn't know what hold kill really meant in kill team,
Yeah, and it was getting to be such a final form of the hold, right? It was going to be shield drone spam versus shield drone spam eventually.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was going to be it.
So
because kills didn't matter. Yeah.
I think the big thing about going back to hold 3 was, allow me to paint you a picture, okay? You take your 20-man list. It could be anything. I agree. Shield drones were the ultimate hold 3 list. You hold 3. That's easy. You have, what's it called? Well, you obviously take domination. Why wouldn't you? Because there's probably a central objective. That's an easy one. That's a no-brainer. So that's another positional. And then what's it called when you need the original wording of it? When you need a guy on 3 board edges.
Scout the field. Scout the field.
You take that, of course you do. Why wouldn't you? So you're scoring 5 points a turn without breaking a sweat.
Yes.
And you can then you take recon sweep as well. Why not? Because that can tie in with scout the field. If you get your models into the enemy's deployment zone and sit in the corners. Yeah. You are max scoring, and as you say, it's by doing nothing. Your opponent doesn't need to be there. Right. And it's like that is an entirely positional game that doesn't matter.
Right. It doesn't matter what they do.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what they do. They might beat you. But your plan doesn't really change. You might move a drone here or there because they killed one of your 3 guys that was your next to the edge. But that's not really interaction, is it? You don't care what they do.
No, however, you're maxed by turn 3 and that's it.
I argue that's because the secondaries weren't right. Possible. I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with hold 3. And it's possible that if we had just changed the secondaries and come up with some more funky deployments, that hold 3 would have been perfectly balanced. I'm not saying it is. It would require a whole rethink, because obviously right now you and I are both in hold kill kind of mindsets,
Yes.
But I'm just kind of looking at how far we've moved away from. I agree, something that originally seemed like, why have we been moved to this format when everybody else is playing that format? That seems weird, and we have sussed this format. We know how to beat it.
We were paying to play test 8th or 9th.
Yeah, we were.
Patrol.
Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, we've finished the game competitively. We know the best list to win this game,
right,
with this primary and secondaries, right? I was like, okay. So we changed the whole thing, which I think, probably the right decision. But we didn't have to. And now that 9th is moving back, and we are going to be the weird ones playing hold kill, is it possibly time we try and fall in line with Big 40k again?
Well, it just depends on what you want from the game, I guess. If you want to go back to solitaire, then that's a thing we can do.
Oh no, no.
Talk to Sheldon about it.
We would change our secondaries so that couldn't happen. Is what I'm saying though. We wouldn't just play default again. We would still run our own packs. We would just change the primary, and then balance everything else about the pack around the fact that we are sticking with hold 3.
So what would you do about secondaries then? Would you go to pure kill secondaries?
So I would go to actions and kills.
Okay, because think about it like this: that shield drone spam list can prevent you from scoring a single primary. Maybe you'll get it in turn 1, but I can get to your objective with 8 inches and fly plus D6 advances, enough guys.
Yes,
and it's hard to kill them. Kills do nothing. Eventually, it's like, okay, you're not scoring any primaries. So I've taken the main win condition of the game away from you for at least three of the 4 turns.
Oh no, well, yeah, but if you're going to have secondaries that say kill something,
right? So that's what I'm saying. So the main win condition, though, you get nothing. Is secondaries still enough to come back from that? And will I have no secondaries as a pure positional?
Okay, so my theory here is that what we've done is we've gone almost 50-50 hold kill, right? You need to be able to do evenly holding and evenly killing, right?
Yeah.
That's the ideal thing, because there are an equal amount of points in both. And then you lean the secondaries towards whichever way you're better at. It is still entirely possible to play hold kill without killing anything. It's harder, but you can still take the secondaries with open pick secondaries and just accept that you're going to get hold 1, hold more, and then, domination, reconnaissance, recon sweep. You can still score 5.
Yeah.
You can still do that if you
possible.
want. Generally, people aren't.
That's the beauty of having TTS and all that right now, right? Is you and I can get on and we can test this. Probably not today. I'm starting to feel tired.
No,
but we can test this and just see how it feels. Maybe, who knows? Yeah. Maybe it's an ideal format.
As I said, my whole shtick is I like to get more players, which generally means my community is a little bit more beginners. They're beginners, which is great. More beginners, the better, because they don't know as much as I do, so I can feel better about myself because I know things, and that's the only way I can really feel happy in life, and so that's brilliant for me. I completely forgot what I was saying. I went too deep into the joke and I went off the tangent there. That was my bad. So making Kill Team in line and closer to the rulebook, I think, is a positive thing. And the more that can be done, the better in general. Especially if in 40k it's really well received, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
wait and see how it goes.
That's a whole nother. Hey, let's say we go to the combat patrol tournament, and they're like, "Oh, this is really good fun." We could just say, "Hey, Kill Team is exactly the same game, except more tactical." Because right now, you on the board, really, because they're squads, you've only got 5 pieces. That's all you're playing with as in Combat Patrol. Maybe 6, right? In Kill Team, if you want something a little bit more tactical, a little bit more in-depth, you can play with, 8 pieces is a small squad. So that's more tactical than Combat Patrol. You can even go up to 20 if you want to get crazy with it. There are more player decisions to be made, more tactical decisions. Why don't you give it a go? And hey, look, you can actually play a Combat Patrol mission just shrunk down to the Kill Team board size because they're the same. I think that's appealing. I don't know.
Or everybody's going to listen to the hype and say, "Oh, it's all MSU this edition," and they'll take their little thing that they're super happy with, and then all Hormigunt shows up, just 320 Hormiguns. Kill 60 a turn. Does nothing for you. It could go that way. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So I'm basically done with this little interview thing now, but I do have a final question, which I haven't stopped recording, but this is I'm asking you because I'm curious. So as you know, I've gone Gene Stealer Colts. Did you see my last video by any chance? Because in that I pan over my current Gene Stealer Colts army. That was the only. Obviously, there's no reason for you to listen to that video. It was terrible. But I pan over the army as it is done so far. I was just going to ask, like, what do you what's solid in Gene Stealer Colts at such a small point level?
Oh man, I don't know.
Okay,
I don't know.
Fair enough.
We got to wait to see the points levels and stuff.
We do.
But it's probably going to be neophytes. Like,
but is it just spam 5? Teams of 5 neophytes?
No, you would go to 20. You would have 20 in a squad, or you do your conscripts, just whatever's cheaper to have that, and then run them up. And so that's your objective thing. Hopefully, with aberrants, I would want aberrants there to soak stuff up.
I've got some
just
aberrants.
Even harder to shift. Yeah, just make them even harder to shift from there. And then you would have demo charge acolytes probably to just drop in and do surgical strikes with the demo charges against things that most threaten your blobs. So then it's like, okay, you have a 130 point, las cannon unit or something like that, like your big model with las cannon. Okay, he kills 6 cultists. Great job. That's what you want to reduce them to, is just total inefficiency.
Oh yeah,
you take out the things that can take out the blobs.
Yeah. There's one tactic. I think it's perfect ambush. Maybe it's the other one, where you can deploy 3 inches away from the enemy, right?
Yep. And you pair that with drive-by demolitions or whatever. I think that's what it's called.
I was just thinking, just do that with your largest blob, and just stick them right in front of the enemy. Then they can't charge at you. Like they can't. They're stuck because you've conga lined, which you can still do. Or at the very least, you stop them from moving for a turn completely.
Well,
which sounds fun.
Yeah, I would just want to get onto those objectives and hold. Nope, this is mine. Yeah. Because you can't score in the first turn, and they're bringing the game length down to 5 turns. Okay, so it's like, dude, so we have 4 turns, just like Kill Team, of competitive basically scoring. So it's like, get into position and just grind it out is what I kind of see it as. They only have like 4 turns to score, from what I understand. Just again, this is why I'm not making videos right now. This could be totally wrong, but from what I understand, it's 5 turns basically now, and it's like, can you get through with all that? And then again, for the deep striking, that takes CP, right? Yeah. So what I would want to do is drop down like perfect ambush, just something that would get me in range of grenades, and then use that drive-by demolitions thing to throw with up to five guys in one squad. So you would just toss 5 grenades that are strength 8. It's D6 shots each, AP 3, and D3 damage each, and you just blow the hell out of anything that threatens your blobs. So that the rest of the army is very inefficient from that point forward at removing them. They're shooting las cannons and tank killing weapons into little, 5-point, 6-point squishy neophytes. That just like the D3 damage or any of that kind of stuff doesn't carry over, because it's just like, okay, 1 shot kills 1 guy. So that's it. So okay, this guy would be great at killing knights, but if he has 4 shots, that's 4 dead guys. Okay, not enough, and you're just grinding down the battle rounds and winning with solitaire again is how I think it'll work. It could be wrong.
Okay,
but I mean, that's how I think
we're both generally in agreement, because we know the missions. You just want as many people as you can get. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And you want to buff them up with, if you could, durability. Invuln, FNPs are good.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Leadership is going to matter, right? Because you don't want to, with that new combat attrition stuff, you don't want to lose chunks of guys that they didn't earn, basically, by killing. You want them to take them the hard way and actually have to roll dice to get them. So, yeah.
Fair enough.
And then also, there's going to be stuff with positioning, too. I don't think that the new rules for coherency were written very well. So there could be some drastic bullshit that goes on with that.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
At least in the beginning. I think that with any new edition, things hatch broken. And they'll rein things in eventually, but we'll have to wait and see. So
I'll definitely be interested to see how if, because we know that this is why I had mentioned Brand originally. They just ignored any feedback the Kill Team people gave.
Yep.
They didn't even ask. In fact,
Nope.
the main Kill Team playtesters weren't involved in the Kill Team community for like a year. So I don't think they even knew we had. I don't know if they even knew we played the game, to be honest. But it's like no changes were made based on the Kill Team community playing the actual game, as far as we can tell. And so it'll just be interesting now that it goes to 40k to see if they actually make the changes now after the first season is done.
Yes.
Kind of.
After we warn them, and that's one of the things that makes me kind of sad about this. I mean, there's a lot of things that make me sad about the COVID situation, but I don't think I'll be able to do in-person stuff, and I would just love for there to just be this Kill Team takeover kind of that just shows up and is like, oh yeah, we know how to do this, and they just slam them, just slam that first couple competitions.
That would be really fun.
Yeah.
I wish you would kind of walk away like, well, we've been playing this for 2 years.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's kind of like everybody was ignoring Kill Team, and now I think we have a big leg up.
Yeah,
that 2-year head start. So
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, good time. Good place to stop the interview, I think.
Yeah,
it
thanks
hasn't
for
been an
having me on,
interview.
brother.
It's been a chat, hasn't it?
Just we get together every now and again and talk.
Yeah.
But thanks, man. I really appreciate you having me on anytime.
Well, thank you for coming on, man. It's been good. We covered a lot of ground, I've got to say.
Yeah, and I fully expect to be completely wrong on everything that I've said, pretty much. I reserve that the ability. I would love to be wrong on some of this stuff.
I hope you're wrong, because if you're wrong, people are going to leave comments, and that's good engagement.
Yes, there we go.
Yeah, there you go. That's my take on it.
Maybe people will enjoy the game. That would be great too, And if I'm wrong, that happens.
It doesn't matter if people enjoy the game. Who cares? People prefer complaining anyway. All right.
Yep.
Okay, thanks very much, man. Good chat. Thank you very much to everybody for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this. Do leave comments. We don't really have an ultimate takeaway question for you because we covered so many things. You know what? Go and look at the what are they? The timestamps. Every single one there was a different question. Answer one of those because I thought they were all quite interesting actually. Because I wrote them, so of course I thought they were interesting questions. Oh no, okay. Here's one. How to fix the psychic phase in Kill Team because it's bollocks. There you go. Tell us how. There you go. Right. Thanks very much, everybody. There's been Glass Often Beeranid saying goodbye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.